Strap in, bitches. That's right, we talking about bass players. This is back from July. We're actually about 8 or 9 episodes ahead of y'all. That's right, we committed. We fucking committed. Fuck yeah. Committed. So a lot of Dusty Hill talk. We had just lost him when we done this. We get into the Bible. It's at the very end. We're going to read the book of Jonah. Pretty weird fucking book. He gets swallowed by a fish. Also, we bring up an Instagram that's pretty amazing. This woman using triggers on the floor, buttons that trigger different words, is teaching her dog how to talk. It's called Hungry for the letter 4 words. We fucked that up. We smoke weed. What are we going to do? What are you going to do? Hey. Well, you're going to fucking fill up the bowl right now, aren't you?
Smoke weed every day.
You're going to open up your favorite pair of parchment.
Ecclesiastes.
Put on some sweatpants.
Flaming hot Cheetos.
Let us take you on a magical mystery journey that is the Old Testament.
Hold on. Ouch. Leif, I'm all fucked up this morning. I gotta. Leif, I'm a little bit of a hot. Why the? Oh, God, dude, this never happened. Never happened. Oh, look, I got a limpy. Leif, I got a limpy.
What's a limpy? When it rains, it fucking pours, huh? Look at that shit.
I don't know if I told you this, but like my thumb. Can you see it? You probably can't see it.
Nah.
It's kind of, you see how it's kind of black?
Okay.
I don't know. I've been getting bruises on this thumb, like from playing, like on my. I don't know what and then like when you have to twist all those stupid little knobs to make sure your shit doesn't fall over in the middle of a session.
Yeah.
Like all of it, like I'm bruising internally my fucking thumb.
Damn.
It's uncool. And so like now when I need to like twist this piece of little crap to make it loose so I can stop having a limpy, I can't do it. I'm old. For the love of God, thank you.
There we go. Are you feeling better? Are you situated?
Barely.
Having you comfortable is important to me. See? Oops.
Whoa, now I'm comfortable. Let's see. Oh,
Oh man.
I'm more comfortable.
So
how's this mic sound? I just got it. This was your boy Jeff Call's call.
Jeff
this
Gall?
mic, and I got a Jeff Gall. Sorry. Jesus
Jeff
Christ.
Gall's call.
Yeah, well, look at that. Look at that.
I know.
It's almost like Steven Tyler.
I woke up at
yeah.
You better? We can wait if you're
Situated.
not. I'm totally down.
Dude, I saw that I saw your 33-year-old Jesus on inlines with the that video. Imagine if that rolled up on you and you're like, all right, I guess I'm getting stoned.
I think I'm just gonna like skate around Santa Monica giving joints to people. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I did that. Yeah, I did that. Got up at like 5 a.m. this morning.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I haven't rollerbladed in fucking since I was like 12 years old. So here I am, like.
Okay, let's just go and assume that's a bold-faced lie. You know how I know this? Here's how I know. Because you have inline skates that fit you, motherfucker. Don't pretend.
I just bought them. I bought them.
Did you?
Yeah, I bought them just for this.
Okay, all right, I stand corrected. I'm like, no, you've been banana hammock roller skating for years. Don't pretend. That's what you should do. Like, screw the. I mean, I guess I don't know. It would be sort of hard to get away with it because then you're not looking like Jesus. You're just looking like sexy guy with a banana hammock on inlines getting joints out.
That might have to happen. We'll see how it evolves, right?
Maybe that's just another TikTok page. It's like that's just like let's just get high and skate naked.
That's so
shit.
fucking funny.
All right, so I have to go upstairs and get one. I
It's got the M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong filter on with that light.
You do?
No,
What's
you
that?
do. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, I know. It's what happens in Seattle. Sometimes the stupid sun comes out and fucks up everybody's day. Like, oh, this is not what I planned for, Leif. Look, that's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
Stupid
great.
thing out of my face. So, you know what I was thinking, and this is not obviously not going to be an everyday occurrence, but we're talking about the Bible, and I
Get
know
on
this is
it.
red wine, but let's that part always sort of stuck with me as like, you're kidding, right? You guys all realize you're not drinking the blood of some dude who died 2,000 years ago, right? You're not eating. This is not his actual toenail, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. First Miracle Club shit right there.
Well, that would have been the first one, right?
Water to wine. Yeah, First Miracle.
Oh, okay. So that's the first one he did. Was that like the what did he turn into bread?
He turned bread into more bread.
Right.
He took a little bit, like 5 loaves, or I can't remember. It was 5 fish or 7 fish or 5 loaves, seven loaves. I can't remember. But he took like 5 loaves and fed like 5,000 people.
Really? You know how long it would take to feed 5,000 people in one BC? In zero in the original aughts.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, and you know how that bread would have gone bad by the time they got to the front of the line, because if he made it, he did. It wasn't a continuous miracle. He just went. And where the fuck do you store 5,000 loaves of bread in aught?
And not to mention the other, it was fish too. So he like multiplies all these fish. So can you imagine what it would fucking smell like?
The stink. Not to mention, I mean, are we talking about genetically modified fish? Is this like fish farming as opposed to fresh catch?
I'm not sure, because he just makes them. So like they go catch a couple fish out of the sea and he brings it over and he's like, "Pow." Now there's plenty.
Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah, imagine
Maybe
like the
like
barrels never running out, right? He's just fish just keep coming out of the barrels.
Should we copyright a term for the opposite of withering? Is there one?
I don't know. What would it be? What would be the?
Pew, 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 pew. I got this. You hungry? I got you. Want a Big Mac? What do you want? Pew, pew.
Is that like PEW? Pew pew like that, or?
Pew. It's more of a B. It's
okay.
Pew, pew, pew. BEW. Pew, pew. Yeah. Pew, 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 pew.
Fucking. I look forward to this. I'm always waiting for this day.
I think the more stressed out I am, the better it is for me.
Right.
The better content it is, because it's just like, I don't get. My wife, she's the smart one. She's the brains of the operation.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And like she has this list. No, fuck. She has this list of stuff that needs to get done that I don't know about any, but most smart people would come up with, and I'm like, nah, what? Because otherwise it just doesn't occur to me. It's like I gotta buy wife beaters. That's the most important thing I can do before I go to Hawaii. It's like, what about getting extra dog food? What about poop bags for the dog? It's like, well, I guess that's important. I mean, they'll figure out how to pick up poop, won't they? No.
I travel pretty light. Like, did you always travel light when you were touring?
Well, you never want to check a bag.
Never.
Right. So so I've never, and luckily, like her and like, but that some people, some people are like, oh, I don't want to schlep a bag on the plane, so I always check a bag. Like my sister, we're going on vacation with her and my brother-in-law, and I'm like, so I got a new check bag. She's like, you check bags? Or I got a new carry-on. She's like, you carry on? It's like, she's like, I don't want to schlep a bag to the airport. I want to like drop it off and then pick it up and like hands free, baby.
Oh man.
So I'm like, oh, I could see that also, sort of.
But if you've ever lost your shit, if they've ever,
Well, that dude. Okay, thank you. Because I was forgetting. Well, why don't I ever? Because the one time I checked a bag, I was coming back from New York, and my I had like a connecting flight, no hair, and they're like, if you're on this flight, or this flight, you're fucked. They're taking off now. And I'm like, oh yeah, watch this. And they let me off the plane. I'm like, like I'm like Steve fucking Austin through the airport. Like, and O'Hare's like, it's like 75 square blocks.
Yeah, it's pretty
like
big.
Yeah, it's like getting from here to Everett. And I get there, and I get there in time. The plane is not taking off, and I'm like, pew pew, and the woman's like, oh, I can't let you on board because your luggage isn't going to make it. Because I had a check bag.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm like, well, you know what you can do? You can take my luggage and you can stick it up your ass. I don't need it. Keep it. You can have there's 3 pairs of rock pants and some Vicodin. You can have them. It's like, and she's like, I'm sorry, I'd like to have them, and maybe you'll share them with me when they get here because you'll still be here. And I missed the flight. They wouldn't let me on. Yeah.
That sucks. Yeah,
The only good part about it was that I ran into Dale Fanning at the airport. I don't know if you know who he is. Drummer guy, tough mama. Played in Silly Rabbit.
Seattle, or is he
He's
LA?
Seattle.
Okay, yeah.
Seattle guy, yeah. Yeah. So we got to spend the 10 hours together.
Fuck yeah.
Me, him, and his girlfriend. It was a little awkward, but we dealt with it.
This was pre smartphones, pre iPhone.
I think I had definitely pre-smartphone. I think I had a Nokia.
Okay.
It was the T9,
Totally.
Yeah. So I must have had one. Yeah, I must have had one, but nobody else did, so it didn't do that much good. Oh, but everybody had landlines.
But that's kind of the cool part is like back then people actually talked. So for 10 hours stuck in that place, you'd get like 1,000 stories,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Before smartphones, it changed. Like I remember, like 2011, I got an iPhone, and then we played Hell's Kitchen that night. So the first photos are from like the OG Hell's Kitchen in Tacoma, Washington.
Awesome.
But it's also like, we were always touring at the time, and the photos, you could just see us as a band. Like at first there's a bunch of photos of the band, and then there's just like less and less and less and less. People just like got absorbed into that fucking screen.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Sidekick? Did you ever see that one?
I remember the name. Was it a planner? What was it?
It was like
a phone?
Yeah, it was like a flip phone. It had like this like section that would flip up like a Lamborghini.
Oh yeah. And then it was it the first one with like a full keyboard?
Maybe.
Like a predecessor to the BlackBerry?
Yeah, yes. So like the summer that came out, we were on this like nationwide tour. Like we were gone forever. I went to
okay, well, you said it, so let's just go ahead and take a moment. Dusty Hill.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Dude, that is it's so heavy lately. All these motherfuckers.
Yeah, I got to show you something here. You've probably seen this, but it's like Loaded was managed by the same folks that were managing ZZ Top at the end of like 2009.
Okay.
And we did a show. We opened up for them on Lake Geneva in Switzerland.
Yeah,
dude, it was just silly, and we got to hang out with them pretty much all day. And for some reason, I didn't think to get pictures with all of them. But so I have this picture of me and Mr. Gibbons. And I'm sorry that I'm taking so long to get here, but the payoff will be almost worth it. Really, not really, actually. Oh, wow. Hey, look, there's another picture of Jeff.
Of Rousey?
There we go. No, me.
Of Redding? I didn't. Well, there's two.
Yeah, there are. Okay, so this is the picture. So let's see. You see
Oh
that?
shit.
Okay, so if you were taking this picture and you took your hand and went and put it like around, like you're putting your arm around someone, that's where Dusty Hill was standing in this picture. He was like
right there,
right next. He was standing right next to the person taking this picture, and it's like they were the nicest fucking guys. And yeah, it was it's such a weird thing.
It is. They always, he was hanging around West Seattle a lot. I'd always show up to some party.
Dusty Hill?
Not Dusty, Billy Gibbons.
Oh, right. I heard,
right? Do you remember
somebody was telling me that, like, yes. I don't know. I don't remember that, but you're the second person who said, somebody was like, yeah, I was hanging out with him at Slim's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah,
wait, we're talking about, no, I'm not talking about William Gibbons. We're talking about Billy Gibbons, right? Bill Gibbons? Oh, you're talking about Bill. You're talking about Bill Ibsen. No, that's not right.
Yeah, no.
Different guy. That's a drummer.
Do you remember the, what was that called? The Fastback in West Seattle, that bar?
Where was it?
It was down off of, towards the ferry, kind of, but like, kind of like halfway in. This guy, Angel, helped build it. They filmed some videos there. Missionary Position did.
Okay. Oh, Jeff Angel helped build it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. No, I don't remember that.
Oh, man, I can't remember who owned it or what the fucking deal was, but it was great. And it was the weirdest fucking thing because I was working for basically anyone I could. I was still tuning guitars for you guys. And Rouse got an apartment down there, so I would always crash there after gigs. We would always go.
Was that Squire's uncle apartment? Squire's uncle's apartment?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that's while I was in California. Okay, that makes total sense because I'm like, where the fuck was I? Wait, Billy Gibbons is haunting West Seattle, and I'm hearing about it, in 2021.
Yeah, and like, well, the weird part was, like, I hadn't really met. I mean, I had, but I hadn't really hung out with like the grunge royalty, and at this bar every fucking Wednesday night would be like literally most of Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam, and like Mary Kay Letourneau or like Billy Gibbons or like just a random, and it would be they're all drinking O'Doul's, like no one, everyone's sober,
Right.
But they're just all standing in circles and like chilling, and it's like, this is fucking weird. Like,
yeah,
like here is all like people I used to buy magazines about, just
sitting here, and open to be accosted.
Yeah, dude, everyone's so nice. They're all so nice. Kim Theo's so patient with random fans that walk up to him on the street.
So. You speaking of Kim Thale, so yesterday and the day before we were at Avast.
Oh yeah, I love that place.
I hadn't been there since they moved it from Wallingford.
Okay, yeah.
And apparently it's now where Ironwood used to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I didn't know where Ironwood was before. But Stuart Hallerman, who's the mastermind and owner and that guy. It turns out, we found out yesterday, when he moved here from Chicago, he brought Kim Thile, Hiro Yamamoto, and Jonathan Poneman.
What?
Or maybe Bruce Pavitt. Either one of those two dudes. Stewart brought he's like Johnny Apple grunge. he planted grunge here. And then started a recording studio, he's like, oh, I got an idea. I got this. Hey, fellas, come on out here. Enjoy. Yeah.
That's so fucking badass. He's such a nice guy too. Like, he's like one of the kindest dudes you'll ever meet. Like,
sweetheart, total sweetheart.
Sweetheart.
Yeah. And so this is going to be maybe he probably won't see this before I ask him, but I'm going to have him I'm going to try to get him on the Seattle Today thing because.
Oh sure.
Johnny Apple grunge, come on. Stuart Apple grunge.
He's got stories.
Yeah.
Didn't Fevier used to do monitors for Screaming Trees? Wasn't that his deal?
He must have, right? He was like or maybe even in front of house. He might have been there.
Yeah, it might have been in front of. I think he was. Yeah, I don't want to downgrade him. He's like the best fucking engineer in the world.
Didn't he used to be like a gopher?
Yeah,
like a runner. Or
he got my rider for me, right?
Mark Lanigan's assistant. He was like He was Mark Lanigan's assistant.
Yeah, he's seriously, like, I've worked with a lot of people. He's probably the best producer that I've ever seen. He's so amazing. But he's got a lot of Nirvana stories.
Yeah.
Oh, Lanigan? I'm talking about Fevier. Lanigan.
No, so am I. I'm talking about Martin also. Hello, dear boy.
Oh,
How about we do that? We'll try that one more time. No, you did great. You're doing great. One more time, though, okay? And do it right this time.
Yeah. Like always with the like cut. I have a great. So Fevier, the band I faked my way into, my first band ever, where like I couldn't fucking play guitar, Common Heroes, and I was like, I'll bring 150 people to the first show. That's how I got into it. They were making a record with Fevier. So my first time ever in Seattle, Washington, was at Jupiter, and the in Wallingford. Yeah, 40th or whatever. Yeah. Chutneys used to be there and shit. Yeah. But so I've literally never even really been around people who've cursed at this point, right? I didn't know Thai food. We went down to Wallingford.
Never had sushi.
Never ever even heard of it. Like,
right.
So
what's that?
Right. I mean, I have one of those like necklaces that have like the big plumber balls. Oh yeah, like
I've seen you with that, and you have the kind of the bangs and.
I was trying to grow my hair out. Yeah, I looked like a Backstreet Boy. I was very pure, just like clean, like Dorian Gray shit.
I would have hit that.
Yeah. Well, so this leads in.
That's a joke. That's a joke.
Yeah, this leads. So I get in there, and Martin's, commanding the fucking ship, and he's so hilarious. And he just turns around. He's like, "Have you all ever heard of the rusty trombone?" And he starts like,
it's just like it's. There's so many things I can't even talk about because they're just so just like. I'm gonna say one phrase, and we're not gonna talk about it, but it's a dance, and it's called Shove and Butter.
See, I guess I don't know this one.
We'll have to have him. Maybe we'll have him on here, and we can get him to demonstrate the Shove and Butter dance because it's absolutely the most lewd thing you've ever seen. It's just before Two Girls in a Cup. Gross. Just
like Aristocrats. Do you know that joke?
I don't, but that's okay.
Really?
Yeah, let's.
No,
we're here to talk about the Bible. Come on. We've obviously, if we're talking about Martin and gay chicken, about gay chicken.
Oh yeah,
that's
man.
Martin's.
We have so many gay chicken stories. Don't you remember that?
That's Martin. Well, yeah, but Martin is you can never play it with Martin. Because you end up just giving him a hand.
Yeah, you come to me and be like, "Did you have sex with Martin to win gay chicken?" I'll be like, his voice was so unassuming.
Not while I'm drinking. I don't know. His voice never changed. All of a sudden, I was thinking of a hand job.
I felt so comfortable.
It was like nothing was happening. Yeah.
God, I love it.
We can edit all this part out.
Fuck no.
No, I always say that. That was like my. I would always say that in the Seattle Today one where whenever and our engineer, he after a while was like, "Dude, you got to stop saying that. That's so much work for me." I'm like, "No, dude, that's a joke. That means it's really funny and it's borderline acceptable. We're definitely keeping it in."
Yeah.
So
it is.
We'll just edit all this out.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
We're confused.
I don't know. So drummers, it's weird that like all of my closest friends are all drummers. All of them.
Yeah.
Like you, Burke, Jeff. Oh, you're cutting out.
Yeah. Let me close all this shit. So I just want to make sure it's still charging. I'm a hot mess over here. Yeah.
You could be a hot mess.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how like some drummers are like, they like lean into the technology and some drummers are like, oh, I could put a hat on there too, couldn't I? It's not just a doorstop.
Yeah,
Oh,
some of them drive the van, some of them don't.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Bass players too. Bass players always drive the van.
Yeah. Well, I was listening to this. David Frick was interviewing Geoff Ament about his new record, and Geoff was saying something about how bass players as a rule sort of have an inferiority complex, and most of it's based on that, like every time they meet someone, they say which person they are in the band, you can sense a little bit of a letdown that they're not that it's one of the others. And so bass players are always like, so they always feel like they got to go the extra mile and have the van or print the t-shirts or book the gigs, because it's like
they got the stickers.
Yeah, totally. They're just one. They're one better bass player away from getting kicked out of the band.
Which is
I thought
crazy.
that was really funny.
Yeah, the rhythm section's the only part that matters. Obviously, Led Zeppelin proves that.
Yeah,
like
sure.
Guitar players can be sloppy as fuck, and it can still be awesome. But bass player is really important.
Yep.
But I played in this country band for a long time. It was so much fun. I loved it. I love it still. And the sometimes the bass player would be asked to get out of photos.
Just a little further, perfect.
Yeah, it's such
but I'm not in the picture. That's okay. We'll get you on the next one. Next photo shoot, I mean. That's so fucked up.
It was so rough.
That's so mean. You know what? Here's for all the bass players who got kicked out of the photo.
All the bass players. We can't do it without you. I mean,
what you have here is a Vignalta Pinot Grigio made for Soleil wine.
That's beautiful. I could let's go back to Dusty, because
oh yeah,
how weird is it that they're a 3-piece? There's 3 members of the fucking band, no tracks.
Yeah.
When they get on stage, but are they later?
The drummer triggers. It's all triggers. Like Tommy Lee. It's like it's all triggered. It's all. Well, if you watch that, I'm not. It's not a spoiler. It's like if you watch the ZZ Top documentary that came out, Frank Beard says that they got their first check for like 15 grand. He spent it all on drugs and fucking blew his mind. And he was kind of never the same after that. And so that's why I thought it was just like Billy loved triggers and stuff, but it turns out maybe Frank couldn't quite do the job the same. And so that's when Eliminator, because after Eliminator, it's all triggers and,
Okay. Yeah.
It's not like Mutt Lange and Def Leppard where it's all programmed.
Yeah, like a cannon.
He's playing it. Yeah, he's playing it, but it's but if you listen, all the strikes are perfect. It's like
okay, yeah.
And watching him, he's barely touching him. It's like
yeah, okay.
But still, and especially the early records.
I was gonna say,
fucking ripping it. Yeah,
and it's weird that he's the only guy without a beard in the band. His last name's Beard.
Frank Beard. Yeah, it's a weird one. That was like, did they make that up?
Yeah, for real. Simulation theory gets stronger, but they're so fucking good at playing music. Just even Billy Gibbons, he uses I think I heard him say in an interview, B.B. King uses 9s, which is a really thin string. Guitar nerds might melt me because it might be 8s, but he uses whatever gauge is below Billy Gibbons or below B.B. King, because he's like, I'm not as good as B.B. And the control he has over that instrument. We remember when Rouse and them had that rad rehearsal space, Deborah's house over in West Seattle in the
basement.
Yeah. Some of the best memories of my fucking life are all there. So much cool music. But I remember one time when I was working for you guys, it was way after that Yakima gig. Remember way back in the day?
With Guns N' Rossetti?
Yeah. Yeah. We were watching Lost and shit. That was back then.
Right.
So I get a call from Rouse in the middle of the day, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing right now?" And I'm like, nothing actually. And he's like, dude, Billy Gibbons amps just showed up at my house and they still have his tape on it from the night before.
Oh.
So like apparently Duff and Billy were playing this gig and Duff was on stage. He's like, dude, your guitars are the best guitar. Like, that's the best tone I've ever heard. And he's like, where do you get this? And Billy Gibbons like, these amps are pretty cool. Here, you can have these. And just shipped the amps up to Deborah's house. Like, yeah. So like when we unboxed them, it's like got the tape from the gig the night before with all his settings, you know, with all, and we are like, I'm like fucking freaking out. I'm like so, and plug in. It's the worst sounding tone of all fucking time.
It's not the amp, baby. It's not the amp, right? It's fucking. It's the.
It's right there, dude. It's crazy. And Squire showed up too, and he was like, "What? Like what?
So what is this shit? Where's the fucking Billy Gibbons one?"
Right. It's like nah. It comes from right here.
Yeah.
So cool. So cool. I guess, and that's that 10,000 hours. You know, think about how many gigs those guys did on shitty PAs in 115-degree weather. Direct sunlight.
Totally right. Yeah, for sure. That's crazy.
It is.
What do you got for fucking
for Bibles?
Yeah, man. You get some.
So I was,
dude. Let me real quick though.
Yeah.
About Bibles, like I read. God, did I send it to you? I probably didn't because I'm an asshole. But I was reading this thing that said that modern Christianity has been hollowed out and is rotten, and it's not the golden rule anymore, and it's not. Nobody's living by what Christ said. They're just They're like it's all. And I was like, did I not send it to you? How can I not?
Because that's
exactly
like,
what. That's
what
you've
I'm
been
dealing
saying.
with. Yeah.
Yeah. You've been saying, it's like, that's what this fucking whole thing's about. And I'm like, I don't need to, I'll just tell them about it. You know, it's like,
well, I'll read it, but I mean, that's unfortunately, and it's like, you know, I don't know very many casual Christians. I don't know very moderate Christians. I know very fundamentalist extreme. That's who I grew up around. And even though my family is amazing and they're all just trying to be good Christians and, you know, they're amazing people, like the people I was introduced to don't exhibit anything that I saw about Jesus in the Bible. They don't give to the poor. They don't love, you know, they essentially just use the Bible and it's kind of unending referenceable shit. You know, how you could just keep going from book to book to book to book.
Right.
To just confuse themselves into a corner. And like, there's this verse that I used to hear in church and it would fuck my head up. And it goes something like this. It goes, some people will go to heaven after they die and they'll go to Jesus and they'll say, Father, Father, didn't I prophesy in your name and cast out demons and perform miracles and do works and wonders? And he will say, away from me, I never knew you. And that always fucked my head up because like prophecy is a pastor. That's someone that's like trying to unpack these ancient words of God, and God talks to them as a conduit. So when he's speaking, it's like more of God coming through this person, right? And if you're fucking to the level where you can like heal people or do some signs and wonders, you're obviously...
You're a guy.
You're an itinerant. You do it all the time. You're thinking about God all the time. And even you, as you get to heaven, will not be able to enter in. So it fucked my brain up. So strangely, though, that's not what I actually prepared.
Well, no. So, and what did you attribute that to? Like, is it because the person didn't, he was doing it to get into heaven? He didn't internalize it? You know, it's like...
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good... So there's another verse in the same... That verse is from the Gospels, and there's another parable. Have you ever heard of parables?
Yes.
Yeah. Jesus speaks in parables, which is really interesting. So that seeing they may not see, and so hearing they may not hear. So Jesus speaks in these mysteries, so the people that understand them, and the people that are supposed to go to hell still go to hell. It's really interesting.
Real quick though, let's unpack that just a little bit, because these are the people 35 years at the earliest after dude's dead are saying this is the way he spoke.
100%. I agree with you 100%.
And
I'm always going to go hard in the paint.
No, you're going to clear the lane, right?
I'm going to.
I'm the guy who runs and like I'm cleaning the floor out. Well, what about there's a spot of blood here you missed?
Yeah.
It's like what Jesus didn't roll around going, I see, but I shall not saw. I saw, but I shall not. If he's a dude, he's a dude. If he's a dude who rolls around trying to enlighten people, he's not going to talk in riddles. He's going to talk real shit. Go and sin no more. That's pretty straightforward. That's a quote. That's a direct quote from the dude.
Yeah, unfortunately,
he was at the OK Hotel in 1990, man. I saw him, and he got punched in the stomach.
With fucking Queens of the Stone Age. I saw them at the OK.
Almost got in a fight.
I just like, but at the same time, so let me try to think about that. So like, one, that go and sin no more, that story was actually added. It's not in the earliest copies of that gospel we have. So we know that that story was added way later, which is weird because it's so good. But, the only reference outside of the Gospels in the Bible we have of Jesus, there's only one that's kind of creditable in history, and it's from this Jewish historian. His name's Josephus.
And this is the only credited quote?
It's the only, as far as I've been able, there's a lot out there, but I read as much as I can on this shit all the time. It's the only one that is not biased, because the Bible is a Christian document. So because of certain exaggerations that are taken, like with battles and winning and this and that, it's like, well, you gotta see for what it is. But this guy Josephus was actually a Jew, so the reference he has to Jesus is actually about Jesus' brother James, and it's talking about so it's talking about
also no dad.
Yeah,
no. Also a single mother,
No, and James was James is my favorite. Like, I think James, he wrote a really small book in the Bible, and when he died, it caused a revolution. That's how important he was, because this man just gave to the poor. All he did, he owned nothing. He wore sackcloth, and he just helped people. And he lived and died that way.
Imagine the stink coming off that guy, man.
Right. But he has my favorite. So I don't know if it's James 3:5, because there's not very many chapters, so I can't remember. But one of the earlier, maybe James 2:5, one of the earlier verses in James says, true Christianity is this, to give to the fatherless and the widow, and to keep oneself unstained from the world. And I've always just thought that was such a badass verse. Like, I love that one.
So, and that part, that unstained part, says that's the, when I'm asking, okay, did God say you're not coming in here even though you did all these things? It's like that the person was only doing it to get in. He wasn't internalizing it and being a good person. He was only he was checking the boxes,
For real.
And it's like, if you that's my I want to read the James thing. Wait, so James was like does it say how much older he was or younger? I mean, is he older or younger? Does it say?
No, not that I can find. I'm sure there is. I bet I could pull up a Wikipedia, but not that I remember. Right. He was the cool part. I'm trying to find all my references for this kind of stuff, because if I'm speaking on here, I'm trying to make sure I fucking to the best of my ability learning all this shit, right? But he apparently didn't really like this guy named Paul, who I also don't like.
The apostle, the guy.
Yeah, I hate him. They had a fight in the synagogue. They had a fist fight.
Did they? Fisticuffs?
Yeah, and it's like that's the brother of fucking Jesus, the half brother of Jesus. He doesn't like this guy.
How do we know? Because we don't have the dad for that guy either. So maybe it was actually, you never know. I mean, so these two, and how many other siblings are there that marry?
A few.
Apparently,
we don't know. I don't know total, but a few because they name don't we know Mary and his siblings? It's plural.
So and we're certain that Mary. I mean, this was before the time where naming everyone Mary, right? Like, because like the only reason Mary, right? So like, so are we sure that Mary and Mary Magdalene's characters didn't somehow get like split off at some point, and they're actually like Mary was actually kind of like a hooker, and just had a bunch of kids from a bunch of different dudes, and then she's like, no, I got this. Check it out. I'm gonna say I got knocked up by God, and then like all the other ones. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Dude, I'm following you.
I'm not dissing. I'm like, it's again like, how likely is it that what woman has like 3 kids with three different dudes back then and remains single? Does that happen a lot?
No, I mean, if it does, you're gonna die because you have to be a beggar on the street, or that's why you are a harlot. Is if your husband died in a war campaign, or it's hard out there back then for women. Like,
yeah. So how likely is it that she is a single mom of 3? Just rolling around on her own.
I don't think it's 3. I'm assuming it's like 5 or 6. Like that was pretty common back then.
Even more so, like how likely is it? You're saying that she can't. You're saying that women can't support themselves other than being, a sex worker. But somehow, like that never comes into it. She's just like the angelic, never been touched by human hands, impregnated,
And what a weird thing. Like what? Yeah.
What sort of creepy shit is that, man? Wait a minute. So like the alien god who is like an idea, or he just comes down and like touches her little no tickle spot, and like all of a sudden she's fucking impregnated.
Yeah. Well,
it's a little bit creepy. It's a little fucking creepy.
All of the myths kind of do that though, right? Especially like look at Zeus, Like a lot of the gods just can't stop fucking. Like, from all of the myths, from all the cults, from all the world, there's always.
Right, but they can't stop fucking the humans.
Yeah.
And the offspring of the gods and the human are the Nephilim, right?
Oh, yeah. By the way, so...
dude.
I've been working on it for you, but we're not ready, okay? We're not ready. I've been working on it.
I'm not ready. Not yet.
Well, so last week, so like I mentioned, I do these crazy walks in the morning for hours and hours, like 4 or 5 hours, and because I'm listening to the Bible and taking notes, and I tried to fucking be inspired, and it fucking ate dick last week. So I'm not gonna do that anymore. I'm gonna prepare these stories and talk about what I know, because I could have that. I might even scrap what we did last week because I think that's so interesting. And what I need to do is just
what's so interesting.
The give unto Caesar one is so. I didn't know that about the verb. Essentially.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I want to unpack that better. So I'm not going to shoot from the hip very often.
Oh, okay. And so you're not gonna talk about the Nephilim yet. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Right.
Like, let's save this for when I have more dates and times.
All right, because I did, during the whole 2012 thing, I did the deep dive on the Nephilim and the whole Anunnaki and the
yeah.
And that shit's all from the Sumerians. That's not like some creepy, like all the same place Adam and Eve came from, the Nephilim and the Anunnaki came from. That's all the same story. It's not like Joe Rogan or what's the Alex Jones made
Alex
this
Jones.
Shit up, it's like
Turn of the Frogs gay.
Totally right. Have you seen him on Rogan where he gets all shit faced?
I've just seen clips, but that's so my mom used to go on radio shows and talk about the end of the world through biblical stuff. She worked for an author, D something, I can't remember. So they went to the United Nations meetings, and they went to and this is 88,
right?
So my mom was all into it. All that Hal Lindsey shit, all that Left Behind stuff. And so when I hear that motherfucker, I had no idea who Alex Jones was at all. Yeah. And then I hear this Gay Frogs thing that everyone's turning into a song, and it's the most amazing thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
So have you been to his website?
Oh, the
InfoWars?
Oh yeah. Oh,
it's just boner pills. All he does is sell boner pills.
Well, and the thing is, he had he got deplatformed. I can't remember. Oh, it was the whole like Sandy Hook thing.
What? Oh, did he? He's a denier of it or something like that, right?
Yeah, he was like all those people are crisis actors, and you know.
Oh my God, your kid just got. Oh my God.
Well, okay, well, whatever. But he got deplatformed, and it's like that whole like. So he hadn't been on anything for a long time, and Rogan had him on, and you know whatever you want to do on the Rogan show, it's available to you. They're smoking weed. He's drinking whiskey, and it just happened to be Rogan does this sober October. You know, like
okay.
he and his buddies just lean in. They like bet money, and they're like, who can lose the most weight or
like
do the most
nothing.
Sit up. Yeah, exactly.
Like no alcohol, no weed. No,
oh no,
nothing?
zero. Oh, not just nothing, but like who does the most sit-ups and push-ups in every day, and who like caloric, whatever. I don't know. But so he wasn't drinking or anything, and Alex is just like, come on, you got to have one with me. He's like, dude, 3 days from now, I'll have all of them with you, but I can't right now. And so he just gets fucked up, and it's hysterical. You should watch.
Okay, I will. Yeah, I just like see again that shit's so appealing to me. Like, I don't believe it at all. Most of the shit they say, but because my literally Art Bell is kind of like background noise to my growing up. My dad and mom are big time conspiracy theorists, so I have to shy away from it because I don't got time.
Well, I mean,
I got songs to write.
The problem is, like an art is it's not is who's the guy who broke Bob what's his name
Bob Lazar?
Yeah, who's the guy that broke that? It's not Art Bell, but it's
I don't know. I did watch that Joe Rogan.
Well, yeah, and so like there's the whole the white-haired guy, the reporter who first brought Lazar on. He's a protege. He'd probably not like to.
That guy from Vegas, he was like a newscaster from Vegas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so, that story. All of a sudden, the military's 40 years later saying, well, yeah, there might be aircraft. Yes, there's definitely aircraft flying around. We don't know what it is.
Dude,
and this. So maybe.
How about the fact that it looks exactly like Bob Lazar said? How about the fact that the video, comes out before the fucking movie that I watched, and then it looks like a goddamn Tic Tac, and it moves exactly like he said with the gravities. I mean, like, I that stuff. I'm biased. Remember, I want to believe that shit too bad.
Yeah,
like I listened.
I'm the same way.
Right? Like
it's sort of like a garage sale. It's like, I'm gonna find a treasure in there. I know it's other people's junk to you, sweetie, but just let me go in there. I'll bring their junk to our house. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's grown up with Star Wars. It's me, I just like.
Oh, that's
I want to. It's so crazy. I mean, even last night, we have this. I've been on this kid-free summer. My kids are doing different stuff, so I have this month off where I was just trying to make an album and do this, and so I'll go to the airport soon to pick up Crossbear, but I'll edit that out.
Crossbear.
Yeah, but we go to the beach at night, and it's something that I've never really done before, but out here the beach it's so fucking badass because everything over the water you can see stars like a lot.
Right. Yeah,
so you're just out there looking at this massive object. It looks like a god, and then you can see all these stars. And how can there not be?
Oh, there's
shit out there.
Well, I mean, there's got to be. Well, there's no way it's real. There's no way it's real.
Goldilocks planets keep popping up more and more every day. Like we keep finding more and more of them.
Oh, well, so now the story isn't that we're finding them. It's now that they're almost every star has planets.
Yeah.
There's almost none that don't, and most of them have sweet spots. Fact check.
Yeah. I saw this meme. That said, what if all these spaceships coming here are just billionaires from other planets?
Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. I crashed this one in the water again.
Yeah, for real.
Hey, look at this. What?
Hey. What's up?
Leif says, what's up? Hey, Leif.
Oh, dude, I get so... high on these things. By the way, so imagine me, because this is my last kid-free day. I woke up at like 4:30 this morning.
Yeah.
Made this crazy weed bag thing again so it would work better. And then rollerbladed around Santa Monica in that costume. Fucking. Aw.
Who's that?
Oh, buddy. What's up, buddy?
Who's that, boo-boo?
Look at that face.
All right.
Yeah. Part of the gang. How important are those? Have you seen that have you seen this Instagram? I think it's called Hungry for Words.
No.
This this language specialist, I believe, this girl that works in some type of language, something or other, made this huge board that goes on the ground. It has all these big round circles that have a button, pretty easy to press button, and by each of these circles has like water, food, play, and her name, her husband's name, and they've taught their dog how to speak through this. So the dog will be like, water, I want water. Or like when the husband comes home, she'll be like, John home, play, John home, park, John home, car ride, John. And you can watch this Instagram of this
Holy
dog.
shit.
Right. Holy shit.
What's it called?
Hungry for Words, I believe.
Yeah, boy. You're not fucking the program up. I am.
I'm just wondering if.
Speaking of which, again, it's a lovely Italian Pinot Grigio Vignalta.
We'll find it.
Made just for Soleil wine out of Vashon, Washington.
Beautiful. I had some wine on my birthday.
Blood of Christ, and also with you.
Dude, so you need to read that book because that's going to become.
Which one?
It's called The Immortality Key.
You got to text me that one too.
It's fucking unbelievable. I've read it twice.
Trip.
Oh yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I just only the fucking Catholics, and then they built a whole fucking church, a whole cult around you because it's it's sort of like that Star Wars thing. Like the if you ever hear the guys who designed the special effects for that opening scene, where the opening scene of Star Wars is like
the fighters chasing.
You got and then you got the words, and then it pans down to the sky, and then the small ship comes overhead, and you're thinking as a fucking 10-year-old, oh my God, look at the size of that ship flying through space. That's crazy. And then all of a sudden, the gigantic fucking destroyer comes over, and you're like, oh my God. And it, pew, 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 pew. And the guy says, if you buy that scene, if you buy that, then we have you.
Oh my God.
And that's all. And the whole rest. And that's sort of like the Catholics, where, they do this whole smoke and mirrors thing. And then there's the little seance and like the whole thing. And then they unveil this. And now we're doing a magic trick. It's like the Cats circus or some shit, man, where like the very end, not the very end, but like midway through, they poof, we've just made this wine into blood, actual blood. They're not saying, it's not figurative, it's literal, and not the literal of today that means figurative, but the literal of yesteryear
comes down.
That meant really. We really made that. You are drinking the blood of this dude and you're eating his toenails. Okay, these are actual shitty toenails that we've conjured with our magical fucking Catholic powers that we get from raping boys. That's how, it's like you're actually eating the toenail of Jesus Christ. And it's like every time, wouldn't we have eaten all of him by now?
And what?
Wouldn't his blood, wouldn't he be dried up? I mean, is he a miracle worker? He always has more blood. We've been doing this over, all over the world for 2,000 years. I think the dude is dead for real now. So, but if you buy that, well, you know what? They did make, wine into blood, so we better give them our money.
Well, I think it's even an easier step because if you've ever done, or if you've ever even just, no problem. If you've ever seen evil, what are you talking about? This is the best. That's the funniest shit I've ever heard. I agree with you too because, okay, let's just stay on the wine thing. Let's just stay on the body and the blood of Jesus because the sacrament, this weird, the Eucharist, it's not Jewish. Jesus is a Jew. Jesus is a very poor Jew. It comes from the poorest part of his region. Near that region was a temple to a religion called the Mysteries, which was said to be attached to like the beginning of time, like older than all the other cults. And that religion was led by women, by priestesses. They were the only people that were allowed to take you on this psychedelic journey through wine. And wine,
priestesses,
dude. Well, have you ever gotten into the Terence McKenna, that Food of the Gods? Have you read that book?
I haven't.
It's so good too. It's kind of dry.
I read that one. Yeah.
Yeah, because you realize that agriculture, whenever this came about, when we started staying in one spot and farming, was most likely due to alcohol and not actually bread like we thought. Like all the signs now, the more and more evidence kind of leaning towards like, no, this was probably just to make grain for alcohol, to make ingredients for alcohol. Yeah, because yeah, right. Like,
because before that, you have to like, what do you make, and you got to carry it with you. You got to like whatever fruit you can pick, and like you got to like carry it around while it rots, and
yeah. Well, that's what Terence McKenna talks about. So he believes that
I hadn't heard that. That's super interesting.
Yeah, well, he believes there was this after this ice age that maybe primates came down from the mountain or from these trees and started following hoofed animals in these grasslands, and maybe they would eat mushrooms out of the poop.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where this whole thing comes from. So let's say that generations go by and these hunter gatherers now have like pouches that they save their mushrooms in, and then let's say that in order to keep those mushrooms from going bad, they'd preserve them in honey, right? And so now you have, as the honey ferments, you actually get this crazier drink. You get this alcohol psychedelic drink. And then let's say that goes on for years and years and years and years. And through trial and error, like women are the shaman that can get you to the most intense psychedelic experience you're going to have where you die before you die. So you get to go to the other spot, to the dream realm or whatever, we call it. And this religion, there was a temple close to Jesus with this. And I'm trying to paraphrase a lot of shit in a lot of different books and a lot of stoned ideas, right? But like,
right.
I do actually kind of, and I don't want to be just like jumping on a bandwagon because I've been wrong a lot, but like, it makes sense to me. Like the Bible actually to me seems more like a trip report than almost anything. There's like
what do you mean? What do you mean a trip? Oh, like a journal of trips.
Yeah.
Because
especially the Old Testament, there's all these like minor prophets and these people that are like, I was caught up to the seventh heaven, and they talk about these out of body experiences where they're like literally in the throne room of God. And it's like, dude, if you've ever taken way too much psilocybin in the desert with your friends,
you've been to seventh heaven.
It's like, it feels like it too, like,
how's that vape of how's our vape doing?
It's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good.
When are you coming up here?
Allegedly. It's cool, man. Like, I'm so grateful for all my friends.
Yeah,
it's so cool when you have friends that can help you in these ways.
Yeah. Is that friend in this state or your state?
He's in my state down here. I don't want to give him up.
No. But
he's definitely cooler than I've ever been.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I'd like to be as cool as your friend.
You're probably as cool as this guy too, buddy.
Where's my
what are you talking
Where's
about?
my vape pen then?
Well, see, the vape I don't like as much. I like the smoking it or like freebasing it.
Right.
Again, I've done it quite a few times, but not that much. It's like not something you really do all the time. It's not something.
Oh, I feel like you don't need to do it more than it. Like
you could do it once.
Yeah, I want to talk to the elves and the gnomes, and then I'll come back and I'll talk about I'll reevaluate everything.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
I mean, like I've said, I went through really, 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 really rough patch of life, and I blame myself. I made a bunch of mistakes, and I had to fix a lot of fucking problems, and not just I'd already started out to work on them, which is the number one thing, but like that experience I had, I started making my bed every morning. I started having money in my bank account. I started like literally everything in my life changed for the better. I haven't smoked. I mean, I'm addicted to these nicotine lozenges now that I keep having, but I haven't smoked in like almost 4 years.
Yeah,
which I was like 3 packs a day.
Nicotine's not going to kill you.
This way is not too bad. I just have such an addictive personality. I have to be really careful.
Yep.
I'm very
That's
disciplined
us.
with that shit. Well, it's fun. I love my addicted personality. Yeah, you can aim it in the right direction. But this trip report stuff with the Bible, because how do you explain these stories? Like this will lead into the story that I wanted to talk about today. Have you ever heard of this guy named Jonah?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? It's pretty famous.
Not Job, Jonah.
No, Job is. We could just do every single episode should be about Job, in my opinion. I read that book. It's so fascinating to me. So I won't go there.
Yeah, that's Old Testament. Yeah. Okay.
I've been listening to the Old Testament on my walks, so like I can get through a couple books, because some of them are 40 chapters, some of them are 60 chapters, some of them are 20.
And what is that? Is that Audible or what is it?
No, I have the Bible app that lets you listen to it in every different translation. It's just like a free app, and like you can just press play. Yeah.
Just real quick though, how is it that most of the gold in the world, like the most ornate place you can visit is Vatican City? Like how is it
because they distorted the message of God that had been perfected over thousands of years, culminating with this, I can't say that word right, with Jesus, who like made it perfect because there's one God. Instead of 1,000 gods making everything confusing, there's one fucking God, right? And then after he dies, they take that story and who he is, because it's so poignant in all of our hearts, because who hasn't failed and who hasn't been poor, and who, there's a lot of power in the people. Right.
Lots of people.
And they take that. They take that, and you get 10%. If you give 10% of all your earnings to the church, that's what I was taught.
But I don't understand how people can just generation after generation, especially now, just continue to sign up for that shit.
Well, after a while, you don't have a choice, right? Because if you've
no, you always have a choice. You fucking always have a choice.
I guess I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't really. I made that a little too fatalistic, but I was gonna say, like, you can see that if you've based your life on, and this is what I think the problem with modern day church is that everyone that calls himself a Christian, and I know that's such a generalization, so I don't mean it that way, but a lot of people that call themselves Christians actually have just made an idol of the Bible. And not even the Bible, their misinterpretation of the Bible. So they read the Bible, they try to take it at face value, totally understandable.
Right.
And then they make this God out of it. And that's why their lives are so unproductive, because Jesus says, go forth and make disciples of all nations. So as a Christian, your job is to go spread the word of God, of Jesus Christ, of salvation, right? And like,
I don't believe that's entirely true.
Well, that's what Jesus says as he's ascending into a bunch. And it's very, that's called the Great Commission.
That's what folks say.
Well, that's what the Bible says. Yes. Yeah.
That's what folks say. He said as he ascended into heaven, people.
And the
as he ascended into, literally, they're not again. I know the people who are born recently don't understand the word literally because they think it means figuratively, but it doesn't. It means this actually happened. Not this actually happened, but it never really happened. It means literally he was sitting there, he was standing there, and he started levitating off the ground, and he did this.
Slowly.
and while he's going, as if he doesn't have complete control over it and doesn't know how long he's going to have. Hey, real quick, while I'm up here, and really, like, how far up did he get before they couldn't hear what the fuck he was saying anymore?
I'm going to guess 30 feet. I'm going to say 30. Okay, and it's slow. The slow descent, right? It's like kind of ramping up, gets their dicks hard.
Who said? Does it say slow?
No.
It said ascended into heaven. Okay? It's not a controlled ascension.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a controlled ascension. You're either ascending or you're not. We do. Okay. All right. Motherfucking. Come on. Seriously? Can we decide that we have to follow the law of gravity? Okay, so if he's ascending, he has to ascend at a certain rate, or he's going to come back down, right? He's like, if it's mental powers that are doing this, or like,
he's whatever. God, he can do whatever he wants.
I'm just saying that, like, so go forth and sin. I'm like, what? He's like,
no, go forth and make disciples of all nations, teaching them to obey godliness and baptize them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Okay, well, what that really means is more Bill and Ted. It's like, fucking just be excellent to each other. It's like, be godly, like, like don't hate.
I think that's what Christians put in there. Like you said, like Catholics don't believe in contraceptives because it puts more asses in seats over time. Right? I think this is that. But if you if you look at the oldest gospel, which is Mark, so the earliest gospel, which are the books about Jesus. Is that your phone? Because
fuck, I did it again, didn't I? God,
yeah.
Because I'm addicted to it.
Dude. I just put that timer of screen time right on the front, so I know exactly how much time on everything all day, and it helps a lot. But so Jesus, the earliest gospel, Mark, it's like 64, I think, AD, 65 AD. The original ending doesn't even have Jesus ascending to heaven. In fact, he doesn't even. In fact, the whole book, Jesus never says he's God in the entire book in the earliest gospel. So.
You know why? Because he fucking wasn't God. A fucking dude who's like, stop being such dicks. Get the fucking money out of the church. This is fucking ludicrous. Okay, I'm sorry, but you were talking about Jonah.
Oh, yeah, we haven't seen. Well,
sorry, my bad. But like sometimes you say stuff that it's like, look, it's super important to me that every time we say, or you say, this is what the Bible says, this is what Jesus said, it's like, okay, caveat, this is what the people who wanted to control your mind said he said.
Yes. And this is centuries of those teachings, like a bad city stacked on top of each other. So, and that's always what I'm going to try to represent is a fundamentalist viewpoint. They don't usually reflect my own, but
no, I get it.
Yeah. So, but we've talked every time, and obviously this is like I've told you, I've said this before, how many times I've tried to do this with people. But every time you try to have a conversation about this, it splinters into a billion fucking different things. And the Bible, these, I think, 67 books written over 5,000 years in multiple languages, like even the original writings span different languages.
Right.
There's so much in there. You can kind of meander and use this verse to point at this verse, to point at this verse. And about 15 or 20 minutes into that, you're not even going to remember what the fuck you were talking about, what your original question was. Right. You know you're going to leave that church and get a cookie and a coffee and feel better because you got a community. Yeah. But, and I'm not shitting on everything, but like,
we're not shitting
you
on
can
anything.
see how this can be so easily used for manipulation. Right?
Yeah,
and
for
it's
sure.
Just that's what I think. I think our world is filled up with Christians that have never read the Bible.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting that they think other people are going to go to hell. I mean, if you're a Christian, not only that, you think that very soon, because Jesus thought very soon, the end of the world is coming. And that anyone who doesn't believe in Christ is going to go through all this crazy shit for a couple thousand years down here. So,
well, did you see that? Did you see that the whoever it was that did the modeling of civilization collapsing in 2040 is like, no, we're totally on. We were right. It's coming. We're good. we're doubling down now. Actually, we're gonna buy some property in Greenland.
Yeah, I mean,
dude, the inbredness and the spiraling.
It's idiocracy, man. how the fuck is Idiocracy like a biography now?
Yeah. And yeah, like I love the thing about like all of these all of these spaceships are just billionaires from other planets. That's fucking brilliant. That's fucking brilliant.
Be so rough. It'd be so rough. It always
like
is.
Bezos is going to come out of one of them. He's like, oh, see, I figured out the multiverse on another planet. That's why I'm rich here. Now I can be rich on every planet. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah.
He's going to come down here and he's going to kick Elon in the nuts because Elon hasn't figured out the multiverse on the other planet yet. Like, oh no, he just got lucky. He's the only one. I'm everywhere.
Wow, that would be really interesting. I wonder that might even.
We should copyright that shit.
Well, because like there's the last book of the Bible, like we haven't talked about yet, Revelations. It's really interesting, and it depends on how you like interpret that book, because it's so the book is kind of like a genre of books. It's really rough. There's like demons. There's like plagues. There's like the deep gets opened up. 7 seals. There's all this like crazy terminology of the hardest times ever. People. Just death and destruction. But that was actually a style of writing back then called an apocalypse. So it's very common, and it was usually someone writing about their situation in life and just going all out ham on it, you know. And people, so Christian nowadays, pastors in rural America take this book and they read it horribly and they misinterpret every fucking thing in it, and they talk about. Even though the rapture is not in Revelations, they talk about the rapture and they use Revelations to back that up. And I'm really excited to get into it because with what you just brought up, it could all be there. But let's go Old Testament.
Okay.
And I'm going to take a toke.
Okay.
See if I can remember the story that I've been reading a bunch for the last couple of days. So, the story of Jonah, it's only 4 chapters long. It's this little book in the Old Testament, and it has such a, it gets taught in like every Sunday school, and it has like this narrative. Pinocchio's kind of,
isn't it a whale?
Yeah,
he
gets swallowed by a whale. And okay, so I was so ready to talk shit about that. I had this prepared, and I was like looking up historical facts, and it's like. There's some old wives' tales. There's one that got put in a book, but there's nothing concrete of anyone surviving. And then motherfucking
dude gets totally swallowed by a whale.
Got swallowed by a fucking whale.
Well, he didn't get
put in the mouth.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Do whales actually swallow? I mean, is it
just kind of sat in the mouth? Broke his legs, I think.
I don't think he broke anything. He punched his way out, though, right? Did he break?
I think the whale just spit him out. I don't know,
but he punched he was like, oh no you don't, and he started like being a dick in there, and he's like, yeah but yeah, I mean, so it totally happened, like a lobster fisherman down there, right?
Jesus, right? Like, and like again, that's why I love. I'm hoping through these conversations to just open up honest dialogue about the Bible, because I think it's kind of fucking amazing. So here's the story goes. There's this prophet, his name's Jonah, and God comes to him. He hangs out with God a lot. And God comes to him and he says, I want you to go to this place called Nineveh, and I want you to preach to them because their evil has come before me, and I don't want to have to kill them. Okay? And Jonah's in this spot in the middle, and instead of going to Nineveh, he goes to this other place that's like the exact opposite direction. So God tells him to go to Nineveh and preach to Nineveh, and he decides to literally get in a boat and go the opposite way. Why? Because he fucking hates these people and he doesn't want them to be saved. It's really weird. And I'll back this up. The whole story, Jonah's a fucking asshole. Jonah's a dick, and it's never taught this way, but it's like straight up in here. It's amazing. So when he goes the other way, shit starts getting real, right? So he hires this boat. They're all full of sailors, probably trade, bringing stuff back and forth. Yeah. So they've sailed before. They've been there before. And God sends a storm because he's going the opposite direction. While the storm hits, Jonah is asleep down in the ship, but everyone on deck is fucking freaking out. It is such a big storm, even though these guys are obviously seasoned sailors. It's such a big storm that they're starting to fucking pray. It's like, what's your God? Pray. What's your God? Pray. Everyone pray to their own gods. We got to fucking figure this out.
Right.
They do this thing called casting lots. The guy goes down and wakes up Jonah. He's like, you got to start fucking praying to your God. Like, we're going to die. And I don't know what lots is casting. I'm assuming it's like the conch or like, you know, you're going to pass something around like a kind of a gambling type thing. And if you get it, you have to admit what you did wrong. That's how it was explained to me, but I just haven't been able to really find.
I think it's like drawing straws.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or whatever. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of, that's a better analogy.
I'll look it up.
That's exactly what I was trying to, yeah. So they draw lots. It comes on this guy, Jonah, and Jonah's like, this is my problem. This was because of me. I'm running away from the will of God. And they're like, yeah, you just told us that you were hanging out with God. And he's like, throw me in the ocean. And they're like, they're really good guys. They're like, no. And they actually are trying to row. They're like doing anything they can to get back to shore and save this guy. And then they're like, they go to God. They're like, please don't hold this against us, basically. And they throw him in the ocean. And when they throw him,
I mean, take dude. We're just gonna.
They're like, we've tried everything.
We're just going to go. And you just take, why don't you sort it out with dude? Go ahead.
Right. Yeah. And like, so as soon as Jonah hits the water, storm's done. Right. So fucking all of these sailors have a conversion experience right there. Right. They sacrifice something to God there and they make vows to God right there. They are like, we're now fucking Hebrews. You know? Right. So that happens. Now, God tells this fish to swallow Jonah. And Jonah goes in the mouth of this fish for 3 days. It says that.
What?
Yeah, God tells the fish.
Wait, that part. What?
Yeah, let me.
God talks
chapter
to the
2.
Fish.
Yeah, he tells him. He also tells him to spit him out. Let me find it.
God talks to the fish.
Yeah.
What was that thing you were saying about? It's
Oh, it's in Jonah 1.
This is all a simulation theory?
Simulation theory.
So wait, whoever's doing the simulation, obviously they can talk to everybody, right? They can talk to the dogs, they can talk to the fish, they can talk. Yeah, all right. Jesus Christ.
It's before this.
Fucking Jesus Christ. So God, in his glorious wisdom, spoke to the whale.
Now the Lord had prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. That's the end of chapter 1. Now chapter 2 had this verse that I saved. Let me go back. Oh, shit, Jonah 2. Here we go. Then Jonah prayed unto the Lord his God out of the fish's belly, and said, I cried by reason of my affliction unto the Lord. And he heard me. Out of the belly of hell I cried, and thou heardest my voice. For thou hadst cast me into the deep, in the midst of the seas, and the floods compassed me about. All thy billows and thy waves passed over me. Then I said, I am cast out of thy sight, yet I will look again towards thy holy temple. So it keeps going this way. This guy does the exact opposite will of God. God punishes him. When he is in this punishment, when he's in this belly, in this hell, this metaphorical dark place, he remembers it's his fucking fault. He finally remembers, oh, it's not the fact that I hate these people and they deserve to die, so I did this, and I thought this was holy because they're horrible and they deserve to die. I thought it was justified by this action. It's not their fault. It's my fault. And what happens whenever the hero figures this out? Everything gets fixed, right? So he gets spit out of the belly of this well. And God comes to him a second time. The second time he goes, go to Nineveh. And Nineveh's supposedly a really big city. So it's a big city. I shouldn't say supposedly, sorry. He's on this, it takes 3 days to get through it. And he's walking through it and he starts screaming, in 40 days and 40 nights, Nineveh the Great will fall. You know, he's like, repent. You guys are sinful and wrong, and God's going to judge you by conquering you. God's going to judge you by killing you all. God's going to judge you by... So this is the craziest part. The king hears this and fucking rips off all his clothes, puts ash on his head, gives a command that no beast or man shall eat any food. They're to pray all day and night. They're to like seek repentance from God. They're to be in anguish and not be happy.
Like COVID.
I don't, man. Some of us, I don't know. Some parts of America didn't really believe in that shit. So that's too long to even. Yeah, fuck that shit. But
well, it was like COVID in Washington.
that's the way to say it.
It's like COVID on Washington State. That is, of course.
Yeah, it's like, but that's weird, right? Like, cause like when you typically go to someone and it will be like, hey, you're really fucking up in your life. People are like, you know. But this entire city was like, oh, shit. And they believed. And so what happens? God spares them. God spares them. And then immediately, Jonah has a full-on fucking temper tantrum. And he stomps out of the city to the east. And he is so mad that God is like, why are you mad? And he's like, I deserve to die rather than see these people be saved. I knew you were a good God who's sparing and loving and kind to people who don't deserve it. And you were going to be kind to them. You saved them. They don't deserve it. Like, these are the words in the fucking book. This is what the prophet of God is saying to God. So he goes outside the city and he's sitting down, he's chilling, and it's really hot. So God makes a tree come up over him to give him shade. It just kind of like grows and grows and grows and grows until it's beautiful for him. And he's now kind of got like a little break from some of this sorrow.
Shelter.
Yeah. He falls asleep under this tree. Nighttime comes. A worm comes to this tree and eats the entire thing. And then he's mad about it. And God says, why should you be mad about me, like, taking away the tree I gave you? You didn't do anything for the tree. You didn't make it. I gave it to you, and then I took it away, and you're mad at me. And why are you mad about me sparing this people? Aren't they more than a tree? And my favorite thing is, it's like, let me find the last verse, because it has the weirdest ending to me. Like, and God said to Jonah, dost thou well to be angry for the ground? And he said, I do well to be angry, even unto death. Then said the Lord, thou hast had pity on the ground, for which thou hast not labored, neither madest grow, which came up in a night, and perished in a night. And should not I spare Nineveh, that great city, wherein there are more 60,000 persons, that cannot discern between their right hand and their left, and also much cattle? And like that. That's like if that's the last words of the book,
and they're kind of rich,
yeah, like
and they're sort of loaded, and so well,
what?
Well, but wait, who? So let's okay. Here we go. Here's a little unpacking. Who is saying who wrote this? You said this is one of the oldest. This is one of the oldest.
No, this is in the Old Testament. Job is the oldest book. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
but Jonah is. Yeah.
Like so who's writing this? Who wrote this?
Jonah. Well, we don't know who actually wrote it, right? But he was a prophet.
Say that again, Leif. Say that again.
We don't know who actually wrote it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Say it one more time.
We don't know who wrote this.
Fair enough. Okay, then we can move on. And so, like, but this is so again. You're going to
8th century BC.
Either so, like, this sounds totally like a psychedelic trip.
Yeah.
Right. Like storm whale, like,
yeah,
like, and honestly, like, because any little part you unpack by itself, you sound like a moron. You sound like you're talking gibberish.
Yeah.
Like, so I was going to, because I'm a moron and I like to speak gibberish. I'm fluent, but it just is, like, so if, let's just, the king who strips off his clothes and rubs the ash all over him. It's like,
yeah.
Why is he believing Jonah? And if he gets spared, how does he know he's been spared? How does he know that Jonah just wasn't full of shit and there wasn't a God, that he's just like, loopy? How does he know? Like, okay, so it doesn't make sense to take all this stuff as at face.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally taking that's actually a verse in the Bible, or all scripture is God breathed. So
And
that's what we talk about a lot.
And they're fucking loaded. They're stupid and they're loaded. And Jonah, now you haven't heard this yet, but you're going to, at some point, you're going to hear this saying that said, "A fool and his money." Okay. And so I just want you, why don't you write that down? Put that, a fool and his money are lucky to get together in the first place. Okay. Write that down. And because you'll understand it when we take all the money from these, all the cattle from these guys.
You can't. I've told you my favorite proverb about the fool stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good shit.
Yeah.
It's weird how poignant it is, right? These stories go straight into your soul. They seem so familiar. Even if you've never heard that story and you listen to my fucking cursing and paraphrasing, like, and that's your first experience, it's still like, you've seen it. It's like an archetype, right? It's like you've seen it. You've felt it. Like when you're in a shitty spot in life, let's say you fucked up, or let's say you did something wrong, it does kind of feel like you're stuck in a whale or something. You're in a dark
feels like
place.
You're trapped in a place of your own making, and the only way out. Well, sometimes it's kind of funny because sometimes you can just like step back off the curb and not get hit by the bus.
Yeah.
But a lot of times you just have to look at the bus and they're like, all right, fuck it, run me over. What happens? What's on the other side? What's on the other side of this event that I've created? This sequence of events that I've created. Just get it over with. What did I do? Go pay my rent.
Yeah, and like if you can do that like your life becomes magical, right? Like if you can objectively look at.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, is that what if you can, like, as a rule, if you can judge yourself accurately.
Yeah.
Without your own stupid perspective. What's that, subjectively.
Yeah, there's like lenses that go over your eyes when it comes to, I never was allowed to. The flesh is evil, right? So like,
oh yeah.
And like, so anything happening here on earth is actually bad. So when I was like having all these cool shows, when I was younger and was getting to levels of music that I didn't even imagine I would ever get to be a part of, I would like leave parties and figure out ways to feel bad about myself because I'm like, well, this can't be good. This is of the flesh.
Right.
And it's like that's one of those horrible lenses that, like, for good or bad, some pastor was just talking, and that's how it got in there for me. So, if you can strip all that shit away, you can start doing honest work on yourself. If you can do honest work, you can start seeing results. Results build confidence, and that shit fucking rules. You can eventually make your life so good you can make other people's around you's life good, and that makes shit magical. The golden rule.
Yeah. I'm not sure that. Yeah. I mean, I the golden rule is great. I'm not sure that you can't expect people to have the same experiences, the same experience level. Like what you're talking about is enlightenment, sort of. I mean, like, honestly, it's like, what shitty things have you been through that have taught you that it's all a facade, and just don't sweat the small shit, and connect with the people you love and love people desperately and confidently and strongly.
Yeah.
It's like,
are you asking me what experiences helped me with that?
No. I'm just saying.
Just anyone?
It's like you can't expect everyone to have whatever, dude. I feel like I've been through so much shit in my life and like been so close to death, literally, in the old terms of literally, where like I've had to face my mortality,
Yeah.
And
I remember.
And I can't expect anybody else to have that have the insight that this is not fucking blowing my own horn. It's just like I almost died. That's all.
Yeah.
And I was able to get a bunch of tools from that. And it's impossible to expect people who haven't been to the edge and peered into that to have that. Like, so, I don't know.
But that's another reason why we're doing this. And that's why it was always fun being friends with you guys, because like, I don't know how, but I was always so young compared to all my friends. Like all my friends had already been through so much in life. And so you guys would be like even literally the first time I met you, you were like, what are you doing? That's our first. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? It's like, yeah. That's what we do, and that's actually, I think, if you look at all the narratives of these cults and these myths, these religions that have sprung up on different sides of the world at the same time, totally isolated from each other throughout history. It's what's in the human psyche that brings all this together. Let's talk about all of our different experiences at every single level of the trip, because like I wouldn't call myself a Christian by any means, and I wouldn't call myself spiritual because I try not to be woo woo, but I definitely don't know what the fuck this life thing is. I have no idea what's going on here.
No, but other than the simulation, you mean?
Well, see, so for me, drugs, I didn't do drugs till I was like 30. I didn't smoke weed till I was 29. And I did that on purpose because I thought it made you a loser, and I just always wanted to be a musician. Like a loser as in you get lazy and want to play video games and not do anything. Right. And it's like, well, I want to put out records and like, so yeah. I had no idea. I had no idea it would actually be really good for my ADHD and help me get so much work done. And so then I tried mushrooms, and you try different psychedelics and stuff. And then the experiences you have on there are so beautiful and poignant that they make every other day and every other part of your life so fucking amazing.
Yeah, richer. Well, yeah. It's like it gives you like just out of the box. You get like when you're born. Well, when you're born, you're magical, and then you get that beaten out of you by the people, whoever it is. It's like whoever your influencers are, and so you pop out. 18 years old or whenever it is, like. When you're a kid, you get about 4 colors. They give you a box that's got 4 colors. And if you do psychedelics, at the end of your first trip, they give you the 64 box with the sharpener. So you can like now draw in these colors you didn't even know existed, and you can sharpen your fucking tools. Yeah, totally. And you have that box for the rest of your life. It's like, and then you do apparently you do DMT. And they give you a whole nother fucking box, and they're not even crayons. They're like these weird, like magical stones that I don't even know. I can't even describe them yet because I haven't done it. But it's like, it seems like they give you a whole nother little toolbox, and I want that toolbox, Leif. So make that happen. Would you? I'm tired of waiting. I'm getting impatient. Let's do DMT and talk about the Bible.
It would be really interesting. Actually, we should. It gets a bad, it's illegal and stuff, but like literally, I make more money than I've made in a long time. My bed gets made every morning. I wake up. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I mean, I drink, but like not like 14 cocktails a night. I'll have like.
Don't judge.
Well, I'm not playing shows. I'm just in here writing alone. I can't drink.
We're not here to judge people who drink, are we?
No. We're not why would we? I don't judge anyone. Why the fuck would I? Well, I judge Christians that have never read the Bible. That's my biggest pet peeve in the world.
Judge the judgers. Judge the judges. Oh,
no. But yeah, this like, psychedelic drugs. What is really going on? I've never. DMT did this thing where it's like when you come back here, it feels like a dream here. Like life feels like a dream. So like when you do that, it's the strangest feeling because you feel like you're sober over there. So you feel like you've woken up from a dream when you're there, and you're like, what the fuck? And then when you come back, it's like, this is like being drunk over
like
here.
Inception.
It's so hard to put into words.
Did you watch OA?
No, I haven't yet. I need to.
You should watch that.
I forgot the name of it.
Yeah, there's only two. There's only like 2 seasons, but there's a spot where they go to that. It's not. It's not a. But they go to the woman, the architect, and you'll
That's
totally
sick.
dig it. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I mean, even Loki. I don't know. Have you seen that TV show that's on Disney?
No, is it good?
Yeah, it's all about
Okay.
time and like there's these variants of time and there's these police that make sure that people that get too enlightened get like put in jail and shit.
Are you
And
kidding me? Okay,
yeah,
I had no idea.
I mean, yeah. See, this is what I'm saying with like the stereotypes. It's like there's another wall spiritually being broken down in humanity right now. Like, just like Martin Luther pounds his thesis on that Catholic Church, and then everyone starts reading the Bible for themselves. I feel like you can get it through yoga, you can get it through hard work and goals. You can get it through just sitting at a barbecue with your friends and doing literally nothing. You can get it through watching a sunrise. There's like something else going on. There's something behind the curtain. Call it God. Call it whatever the fuck you want. I don't like calling it God, actually. I think it's weird that we assign a gender to it. It's fucking stupid to me. But
Right. Well, yeah, like like the curtain behind the curtain is starting to glow, and you can see the light. It's like, what the fuck? I didn't even notice that curtain there before. What's that shit glowing behind it?
dude.
Like,
Yeah. And
Like,
the weird part is about like DMT, like for instance, it like always, no matter what, makes fun of me.
yeah,
Like
that's
always
what
at
I've heard.
first. Yeah. There's like
totally
a
heard that,
jester thing that like
Yeah.
like, and it comes in all these different forms and like
Yeah.
these insane colors that I can only describe as real.
Yeah.
Like you finally see what color is for the first time. And
Stop bragging, dude. I want to fucking do it, man. Fucking so like it's not well the thing it's like it's that thing where it's like I remember, and this is why I want, like, my sister, God bless her, she's one of the smartest people I know and always has been, and she liked weed when she was in high school, or she like whatever, and then
yeah.
a buddy of mine who was a couple years older, they both went to the smart school, he was talking to me about acid and how he's like, yeah, he was reading a book and he like bumped the book with his knee and the words fell off the page. And I'm like, what? There's a thing you can do, and all of a sudden, like time
Reality
distorts.
changes. Yeah.
And I'm like, who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to see what the wrinkles are all about, and who doesn't want to see behind the fucking curtain?
Well,
Who doesn't want to see that?
See, and I guess I forgot while I was telling these DMT stories because I was having all these vivid flashbacks about my trip. That what I was saying, but people get scared of like doing like I'll eat like luckily we always had gigs, right? So there'd be like a hotel afterwards and someone brought some cool stuff. So it's like, I'm a dad, so like all these events I'm getting paid, I'm kid free, and I have a nice hotel room, so I'm like really lucky to be in these like like some of that stuff that I got to smoke is like made by weird chemists that are like
Right.
it's like I'm not going to be able to bump into that guy again. Like we don't even live in the same state, so, but people get scared. And like, I've had some of the scariest fucking experiences ever. Like call it hell, battling like basically the Eye of Sauron. That's like the size of universes, and it's like eating me and shit, like the crazy shit like that. But all of it, the way through those scary times in that trip, it's always the same, and it's really interesting. You tell the truth, you can't lie, and you love. And if you do those two things, even the scariest trip you're on will become amazing. You'll learn something about yourself. You'll learn something that you're doing wrong. You'll maybe see something. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, keep
Or
going.
you see something more clearly, and then like at the same time, it's weird because like at any monster, any hell you go to, you just put a little bit of love there, and all of a sudden, the trip will change. Like it just starts opening up, and you're like, it's a guide for me here, So like, when I don't have the capacity, when someone cuts me off, or when I see someone being a dick to someone in line, and I get self-righteous and I want to like,
Yes,
like, yeah, it's just like when you react in those situations with love, everything's better.
Yeah.
Almost always.
Well, that is a perfect place to stop because I gotta like.
Yeah, dog. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming by. It means a lot to us. Trust us. Even with all the hate mail, we know we got you guys. We know you made it all the way to the fucking end. We're gonna have you. You win. You won. You are the big winner at the casino tonight. Smooches.